Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, it's time for another knife review. This one is going to be of the Lansky World Legal Knife. This one has gotten a lot of attention among the knife community simply because of the fact that the whole pitch of this knife is that it is legal in over 156 different countries around the world. Okay, there's knife lovers in every corner of the globe, all over the planet. Unfortunately, a lot of you guys out there and women don't get the chance to have the availability to these different knives because of your specific location, maybe the laws of your country, the laws of your state, city, and otherwise. Now, the first thing I could say after handling and using this knife and stuff is that I want to keep two issues separate. Okay, there's two issues here. The first part of this is how is the knife, right? That's one side of this issue. How is the knife by itself? The other issue in the whole pitch is the whole world legal thing. So I'm going to go right off into the world legal aspect of this, okay? I don't think that you should buy this knife, okay, or try this knife out because of the fact that it's legal in so many places. The idea of having a slip joint knife, okay, this happens to have a 90-degree stop, which is a real nice benefit, and we'll talk more about that in the actual quality of the knife, separate. But the whole idea of getting this because it's legal all around the world, it doesn't make all that much sense to me. It's a really cool pitch, don't get me wrong. In Lansky, it's a great marketing thing to have this knife that, you know, oh man, it's legal all around the world, anywhere you want. There's hundreds and hundreds of knives just like this. The only thing that, and the reason I'm commenting on this is that by making this the world legal knife, okay, you're putting it out there that people can carry this and use this all around the world, okay, which is a little bit misleading. And now technically on paper it may be legal to carry this in all these different countries, but making a safe assumption here that if you live in a country or a place where you can't have a lock on your folding knife, I think that this pattern, this design is a little bit too aggressive for those areas of the world. And what I mean by that is that if it's that much of an issue where knives are such a, you know, a bad thing and they're only really seen as weapons, you know, these are the same places where you can't have guns. Now, you know, growing up in America and specifically in, you know, I guess rural slash suburbia is where you know, most of my life has been spent. I haven't been in the city, but I haven't been in the sticks either. I've kind of been, you know, somewhere in between. Knives were never an issue. Never an issue. No one really saw knives as weapons unless they were used as such. They were just tools. It's no big deal. But I understand that all around the world, knives are strictly seen as weapons, even though those same people that see them as weapons use them every day to prepare their food. But that's a different issue. We're not going to talk about that in this video. But my point that I'm getting to here is that if you can't have a locking knife, the cops and the law enforcement in your area are certainly not going to like the look of this knife. I think that the design is a little too aggressive to be pitched as the knife that's legal everywhere. It's huge. It's big. All right. So, you know, it's big and it's aggressive. It's tactical looking to me. All right. The blade shape is very reminiscent of like a Spyderco Dodo. It's got a little bit of a hook right here towards the tip. Very cool. Of course, I'm a huge fan of the Dodo and I love the blade design. And I like the blade design in this. I like the overall look of the knife. I think it's pretty cool. Snazzy looking. But I want to get that out of the way is that I don't think that this was the best design, in my opinion, to be pitched as the knife you can have all around the world. I mean, that knife has existed already. It's called a Swiss Army knife, you know, Victorinox. It's you know, pretty much any classy slip joint. There's thousands and thousands of different patterns and makes and models and prices and everything else. So to pitch this as the knife you have to get so that you make sure you're legal, it's a little rocky of an area for me. I don't quite go with that. Now, all that aside, the whole pitch of this being legal everywhere, put that to the side. This is an awesome friggin' knife. I really like it. The biggest part of me liking this is the price. This is a sub $20 knife, and I think you get a lot for under 20 bucks, okay? This could be as cheap as $15 online, all the way up to about $21, $22, so you're not gonna pay much more than that. But you're getting a lot of knife for that price. I think it's really cool. It's a Mikkel Williamson, or not Williamson, but Williamson. You see his last name right there. That's the maker of this design. He does some really cool custom work, but obviously work with Lansky for this collaboration, and it's a very cool design overall. It's extremely comfortable, all right? It's a pretty stout, wide knife, as you can see. Now, this is not going to be everyone's thing. Some people like very slimline knives, But I do like the fact that even though we have a smaller blade, okay, it's sub 3 inch, it's 2 3/4 inch blade, you get a nice grip on that. And usually with smaller blades, blade lengths anyway, you usually get smaller handles, so everything's proportionate and all that kind of stuff. But I do like the way this feels. It's ergonomic in my hand. The jimping here on the back of the handle, it's very functional. Double finger choil on here, so it's a comfortable knife. I think it looks cool. It comes nice and sharp. It's a 440C. It's coming from Lansky, so I would hope it's sharp. Okay, so thank you very much for. I mean, we know you as the company that gets things sharp. You would think when you come out with a knife that it better be damn sharp, and it's very adequate. I'm not disappointed at all with the the factory edge on this thing. The 440C, mixed feelings on that for a lot of people. For me, doesn't matter whatsoever. I've pitched this idea all the time. If you're getting into knives, learn how to sharpen them. It's pretty simple, If you want to play football, you got to buy a football, right? So it's part of it to me. I know a lot of people, they kind of get into the mindset that if it's not the latest and greatest steel, then it must suck, and that's a stupid reality, because it's so narrow-minded. Yeah, there's really amazing steels out there, but take the crappiest knife steel, it still cuts stuff, just maintain it, keep it sharp. It shouldn't be that much of an issue. I always mention blade steel in a review because it's important to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, I'm telling you, it shouldn't matter all that much, okay? It will reflect on price a little bit, okay? There's a little bit of some consideration there as to what materials you're getting for what price, but it's not all about that, okay? Some people just buy the knives because of the steel. And I just don't think it should be the main point. I mean, yes, it's a tool. How is it going to perform? How long is it going to stay sharp? Well, I get all that stuff, but in reality, if you can sharpen your knives, it shouldn't make all that much of a difference. But anyway, the 440 is adequate for this. I do love the dual tone or two-tone. We have a satin on the flats here, and all the grinds are a stonewash. It's very cool looking. I love stonewash finish. All right, again, that recurve blade, very cool. Will be a little harder to sharpen, so that's a consideration. Has a nail nick on here. You're never going to use this nail nick. This thing is very, very stiff, and it's stiff on purpose. You cannot open this with one hand. That's, again, part of the pitch of it being legal everywhere. It's a very strong back spring, okay? It has a 90-degree stop. Now, pretty much all quality, like really nice quality slip joints do have a 90-degree stop, all right? And then fully open, it's probably one of the strongest, most reliable, if I can say that, slip joints, in that I've never had a slip joint that used this much pressure to stay closed and open. You cannot swing this open. I was successful holding the blade and doing like a spider drop. I got it to the 90-degree point. I could not comfortably get this thing to whip open. So you cannot open this with one hand. Okay, let's make that very clear. It's extremely stiff, but the positive part of that is that once it's open, even though there's no lock at all, it takes a lot of force. Okay, this is a very sharp edge, and I'm comfortable smacking the spine on my hand because I know it's not going to close on me. That's the biggest benefit, to have a heavy duty, and I can say that about this knife, it's a heavy duty slip joint. And that's like an oxymoron. Slip joints are usually used with ease and care and not for heavy duty cutting chores, but I can confidently say this can be used for heavy duty cutting chores. So at least, for a slip joint. The design's pretty cool. I like it. The Zytel for the handle scales. You can see the maker's mark right there in the scale. Pocket clip is very simple. No frills there whatsoever. I do like that you can swap it to all four positions: tip up, tip down, left or right hand carry. The back spacer also extends past the frame, has a hole in there for your lanyard. It's very cool, it's tapered. I mean, the knife looks cool, it's comfortable, it does cut, it works great. It's made in China. That probably reflects that price quite a bit. These are made in China. It's honestly worth every single penny of the less than $20 you would spend on this. But again, I don't think the selling point here is that it's legal all around the world. It's nothing new. This is not like a brand new crazy design that, ooh, you get around all the laws, nothing of that sort whatsoever. It's just a really good pitch, and it'll sell because of that. And unfortunately, some people out there might buy this thing, thinking, hey, I can carry this and I can do whatever I want with it. No. Understand that what's pretty consistent in every country is that if a police officer, doesn't matter where you are, if they don't feel comfortable with your knife, they will take your knife. Doesn't matter if they can or can't. That'll all be considered later in court. But in the moment, a police officer reserves the right to feel safe in a situation. And if they don't like your knife, it doesn't matter if it's legal or not, they're gonna take it. And if you don't want them to take it, you're in some deep crap. That's reality, okay? But yeah, I mean, it's really cool. The whole world legal thing pitch is it's just a pitch. It's a marketing thing. But if you could put that aside completely, just having a tactical, and yes, this is a very tactical looking, fat, thick slip joint. I mean, this thing is a brick. It weighs 6 ounces. Not the heaviest knife in the world, but I don't think I've ever had a 6-ounce slip joint before. I mean, it's beefy, it's heavy, it's solid, and it's extremely strong back spring. So yeah, it's got a lot going for it. Very cool. The whole legal thing, take it off the table because it's not an issue here whatsoever. If I was traveling around the world and needed a nice knife, I'd get a classy case of some kind, or Queen cutlery or something like that. Great Eastern cutlery. I know people are begging for me to do a review on their stuff. I know they have really nice stuff. There's nothing to do with this video at all, but eventually I'll check it out. But anyway, yeah, it's a very, very cool knife and worth every penny of its price tag. But the whole legal thing around the world, that just garbage. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make any sense to me. My biggest opinion and strongest point I want to stress here is that it's an aggressive looking knife, and I don't think that's going to fly in countries that don't want you to have a lock on your knife. Obviously there's an issue there, and a trust issue with the public, and it's kind of a police state, and I'm not going to get into a rant on that so much, but if you happen to live in one of those places that they want to limit what kind of tools you can carry because they could be dangerous, they're certainly not going to want to see that in your hand. So consider that. It may be legal on paper, but it also may be taken away from you just the same. So food for thought. Definitely has some novelty factor to it, but I think it is still a beefy, usable knife. So very cool. So that's it. That's the Lansky World Legal Knife. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you soon. Take care.